Hey everybody, my name is Dana Weis and I am a realtor with eXp Realty here in Melbourne, Florida. Today's video is all about the cost of living in Brevard County, Florida. Say perhaps you are considering a move. Maybe you're interviewing with a company down here in Brevard County. Wouldn't it be good to know how it compares to where you are living now before you really consider whether or not to take that job? Perhaps you'd be asking yourself questions like, how would moving there affect me financially? Or how would my quality of life be affected if I moved there versus where I am now? All good questions, and certainly something you should consider before deciding to take that job or not. Let me tell you, so it may be Florida, which who doesn't want to move to Florida, right? But where we are, Brevard County is also known as the Space Coast. And there's a reason for that, and that is a different video. But the Space Coast, it's significantly less expensive to live here than in many parts of the country, certainly the bigger cities for sure, not even a question there. I actually found this really great website. I was doing some research before the video just because I wanted to be able to give you guys this information, but I found a really great website called smartasset.com, ASSET.com, and there's a cost of living calculator on that website. Really fantastic. You can compare city to city, and although there are lots of websites out there that do that, this just happened to be one that I came across that you can actually type in the name of your city and the name of the city where you're moving from and the name of the city where you're moving to, versus a lot of the other sites that I was finding, it wasn't like you could just type it in. You actually had to live near one of the cities that they already had in there. So if you weren't really living near one of the bigger cities, you might not get an apples to apples comparison. But this Smart Asset actually, like I said, allowed you to type it in so you get an apples to apples comparison. It was really great. I was kind of playing around with it. It was so much fun to do. So Smart Asset actually allows you to go from the cities and even average your household income. So if you were making, I don't know, 50,000 where you are now, the city you're moving to, whether it's more or less, would be an apples to apples comparison of how much you would need to make in order to have the same standard of living. How great is that? It was the coolest little website. And on the Smart Asset website, you could even narrow it down a little bit more, because you can put in 1 or 2 adults, you can put in up to 3 kids, and they would try to do an even better comparison. So it's a really great website if you're considering moving. They actually had 3 different tabs up at the top as well. They had taxes, a housing comparison, and a food comparison, because come on y'all, cost of food is a real thing. Like that is something you need to know. I'm pretty sure that's the second thing I spend the most money on after my mortgage. So cost of food, good to know. So how great is that? Do you think that would be helpful to know when you're considering whether or not you should accept that job? Probably, right? Certainly something to consider, especially if you live in an area now that has a lower cost of living, for instance, than if you were going to move to Brevard County. If you were going to actually be like losing money, essentially, you would want to know that so that you could hopefully negotiate a, I don't know, bigger salary, or maybe moving expenses. Would you get it? Who knows? But you could at least try, and you could use the data to back up, well, I'm going to be losing money if I was to move there. So definitely a good thing. You should definitely know before you decide to move. In general, the cost of living in Brevard is really very reasonable, like extremely reasonable. My husband and I actually decided to move from Virginia Beach to here. And in case you don't know that area, it's a huge tri-city area. There's 3 huge cities up there. The Navy, all kinds of things are up there. So it's pretty expensive. So when we decided to move down here, it was really great. I actually put the numbers into the Smart Asset just to play around with it and see what it came up with. The cost of living is 10% lower here in Melbourne, for instance, than where we moved from in Virginia Beach, which is just a huge, so he got a pay raise, he also got moving expenses, and then the cost of living is 10% less. So that was really good for us, good for the family. It was a smart move, so it was definitely good to know. Our population grand total for the whole county, for all of Brevard County, it's a little over 601,000. So it's not a huge area, but it's a diverse landscape. It's geographically spread out. It's kind of like a long tube, goes up and down the east coast. But of course, we also do have some inland areas as well. We're not only coast, we are some inland. And we even have several Air Force bases on a barrier island, which is pretty exciting for us. We have lots of homes in gated communities, and yet lots of homes with land for horses, if that's your thing, you know. So it just, different parts of the county have different things to offer people. Pretty much have any type of home location that you're looking for. So I hope this was a good synopsis for you for the cost of living in Brevard County, Florida. It actually is a really very affordable place to live, and if you like to click the link below to check out my website, you can search for homes that are for sale. The price, just put in the price range. You don't have to sign up for anything or anything like that. You can just go in there, play around with it. You're certainly welcome to, you know, please do that. You don't have to register. Just poke around, see what shows up. Thanks so much for watching, and remember, make the wise choice. Go create an amazing day.